All right, we'll call the town board Manteo meeting order, March 6th regular meeting. We'll open with a moment of silent meditation. All right, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, who's handling this? Becky.
I state your name.
I, James E. Ayers II,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of my office as town manager of the town of Manteo.
of my office as town manager of the town of Manteo.
Congratulations.
Ms. Ayers, Ms. Ayers. Ms. Ayers, I hope you enjoy Manteo and you learn to love it just like we do, and I know you will.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure having you here tonight.
I enjoy it. Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Manager, take off.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 4 on the agenda is adoption of agenda as presented or amended.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Who seconded? Motion by Darrell, seconded by Eddie, that we approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Item number 5 on the agenda. This is an action item. It's the consent agenda consisting of approval of minutes for the regular and closed meeting on February 6, 2019. Item 5B, approval of minutes recessed workshop and closed meeting February 20th, 2019. Item 5C, approval of budget amendment number 10. And item 5D, approval of the GEACC 2019-2020 budget and interlocal agreement update.
All right,
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Nancy, is that you? Motion by Richie Burke, seconded by Nancy, that we approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Item number 6 on the agenda is for informational purposes. This is the public comment section. As noted in the agenda, members of the public are invited to address the Board of Commissioners on any topic. Please come forward to the podium and identify yourselves so that your statements can be taped. 3 minutes per person, 5 minutes per group. If anyone wishes to speak later in the meeting on a listed agenda item, please state your name and the agenda item, and you will be recognized at that time. Action on items brought up during the public comment period will be at the discretion of the board. Public comment is not intended to require the board to answer any impromptu questions. Speakers will address all comments to the board as a whole and not one individual commissioner. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed.
All right, would someone like to come forward first and present your discussion to the board? That don't mean everybody's happy, I hope. I think it is. All right, we're going to close comment period. Anybody else, anyone would like to come before the board? This is unusual. All right, we'll close comment session.
Next up for the board's consideration, these are items of old business for action. Item number 7A is discussion and consideration of what board meetings will be televised. This is a matter under consideration by the Board of Commissioners.
Discussion. Han?
Well, I'm looking at our little form here, so that we have. I think we should, I think workshops would be off the list because they're workshops and it's time for the department heads to discuss what's going on. But, I mean, I'm game, whatever y'all want to do. Sometimes they get a little lengthy, but
Yeah. Well, I think we just should do the regular board meeting, first of the month meeting, and not the planning board or parks or board of adjustments. Just do our first month meeting televised.
We can add those at another time if,
Sure.
I mean, I'm fine with any and all, but I think maybe just starting with our regular meeting right now. It's kind of new to us and the equipment and our new IT employees.
the
so
man
maybe-
behind the scenes.
So maybe after we get the hang of it and things, see how things go.
Yeah, and see what the citizens want.
See, yeah,
That's-
see what the,
Yep.
yes.
Nancy?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, doing just a regular meeting right now, the first month meeting.
Rich?
I'm fine with it right now, but I would like to add the workshop to it at some point. The workshop meeting, at a later date, I think.
Well, I would like to add the planning board to it, but not right now. I'm agreeable with what you're saying, because probably the best thing to do is take it easy, slow, and feel it out, but all around with everybody. But it's the only way we're going to know what's going on with the planning board unless we attend the meeting. Eddie, your baby, the whole show is, so how do you feel?
Well, I appreciate everybody wanting to televise the regular meeting, so I think it's a good foot in the door and happy to get moving with that.
All right, sounds to me like we don't need a vote. We're all in agreement, and,
Can I ask one question?
yeah, sure.
Either for you or for Mr. Woody, what channel is that on? Used to be government, used to be Channel 20, it was easy to remember, but now there's
91.
190 something. 191.
It's 191.
191.
Yes, Commissioner, Channel 191 is what we're going to have, and right now, the folks from the GovEd channel, they're talking about, it's not just Channel 191, but they would come out the following week on Wednesday and Friday. So that will give time for the video to be delivered to the county, for them to have a chance to make sure it's appropriate edits, any type of thing like that. But they've already committed to getting those out then the following week so that it's done in a timely manner.
Is it a designated time or is it like a rolling thing?
Yes, we'll go ahead and publish that on the web, publish that, not just get the email out, but we'll publish it on Facebook and on the town's website to make sure that information is out there.
And 191 comes on it comes on, everybody can get it.
Yes, sir. In addition to Channel 191, though, one of the discussions was that, yes, it's for television, but we also have it available in an online version. So as the town can publish this out to its YouTube channel, we can make sure it's accessible to folks who have access to a computer on the internet, or if folks don't have access to internet and computer, we can make such facilities available here at Town Hall for those who do not have access to that.
Let me ask a crazy question, because I'm not that attuned to technology. They would apply to the time, tell the time they would like to have it on their...
Yes, the government channel is at a specific time, but the nice thing about the YouTube channel, it's any time, 24 hours a day, so folks could go look at it at midnight.
But would they have the contact time to hook onto it?
No,
Okay,
sir.
that's what I was asking.
Thank you, sir.
But that specific time, is that something that's just goes on and on throughout the day? Is there a certain time at night or day that it comes on Channel 191?
Yes, sir. 2 time slots, 1 daytime, 1 nighttime on 191, and we will be publishing that out so
Okay.
folks can make sure they either do that, record it, or if they choose that YouTube channel, certainly it's nice to have access any time of day or night.
All right, it sounded to me like we don't need a vote. Everybody's in agreement and accordance. We'll just play it by ear and go with it. So we'll just have the regular meetings the first of the month televised for the time being.
Is there a motion needed for this
Becky's
action?
got all this here.
I don't know.
Do what?
Is there a motion needed for this action?
I don't think we need a motion. We're all in agreement.
I'm just asking, I didn't know.
Because that would leave it reversible. Well, I mean, if you want a motion, we'll do it.
What do you think, Becky? Need to
Make it cleaner,
make it cleaner?
make it cleaner and help me with mine.
Okay.
Do what, Becky, what
It
just,
would make it cleaner
with a motion?
with a motion, yes.
Okay, somebody make a motion.
I'd like to move, record, and make available for televised or online viewing the following public meetings, the regular Board of Commissioner meetings.
Second.
All right, motion by Eddie, second by Hannon. You heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Next up on the agenda is also an item for consideration by the board. Item 7B is discussion and consideration of facility use agreement for public facilities. This one will be handled by the town attorney, Mr. Wyatt Booth.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, Mayor, Commissioners. When the new town manager came on, one of the first things that he called me about was sort of how we handle our facilities that we own. And when you look on our website right now, there's one agreement to use Cartwright Park. There's another agreement if you want to have a wedding at Marshall's Light. There's a special event agreement if you want to do that. And the manager thought it would be a good idea to let's try to unify all of those different ways that we handle facilities that the town owns into one document that is sort of easy for the public to read and understand and creates one kind of unified scheme for our staff so that when we are leasing or licensing facilities, for example, farmer's market or craft market or the baked goods, whatever it is we're trying to do, there can be a very simple, easy to understand agreement that is Town of Manteo's facility use agreement. So that's what I've put together. The concept here is that each facility, for example, Cartwright Park, has its own existing set of rules and regulations. So that if you wanted to use Cartwright Park, you would agree to this facility use agreement, and then the rules and regulations for Cartwright Park would be attached to it and would become part of that agreement, so that when you're using that specific facility, you know what the rules are at Cartwright Park or at Marshall's Light, or I mean at the lighthouse or wherever. Also part of this is that we would have to establish rules and regulations for other facilities like the pavilion. And what the town manager is asking for is to allow him and staff to generate those rules and regulations and the appropriate fees for the use of those facilities on, the rules and regulations would be unified for each facility so that you kind of know what you're getting if you want to use the pavilion or you want to use the lighthouse or what have you. And then the fees for that would be established on a fee schedule, also generated by the town manager at his discretion. So that's what's before you tonight. Mm-hmm. But in particular, the draft facility use agreement is in your packets.
All right, is there any discussion, or you ready for a motion?
The agreement, it would not have to go to you every time then, it would just be entered into here in the office.
That's the idea, is that every time somebody wants to use something, one, I'm not generating a new license or lease agreement. Two, it's not coming before the board every time. Now, larger ticket items, I'm sure in the manager's discretion, he would certainly bring to the board, but we're talking about kind of the every Tuesday craft market, the farmer's market use of the park, that sort of stuff, trying to create one unified system for using town facilities.
So
With
this
the
gets
farmer's
the
market
clerk-
though, if that's a town
But is there anything
event,
you want to inject
would
or
we
not?
still have an agreement?
If it's a purely town-sponsored event, then no. So like Dare Days is not going to have a facility use agreement because we're not going to contract with ourselves. So if Farmers Market is run by the town, then you would not need a facility use agreement for that.
Does this get Becky out of the wedding business?
It just means that there are that many more agreements for Becky to supervise.
She can stay out of the crossfire this way.
Basically, it's just a standardized agreement for any kind of offense.
That's the idea, and if the manager wants to weigh in as well, because I think he's bringing his good experience to bear here, that, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think he's found that kind of systematic approach to facilities use to be a wise way of managing the town.
Well, it seems to clean it up. So, can we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve a policy requiring a written agreement for the use of public facilities by third parties, the town manager authorized to manage operations of such facilities, including but not limited to development or modification of a facility use agreement form, rules, regulations, fees, and related items.
What'd you say?
That ain't us. That's the new town manager's language. That ain't the way we speak.
I'll go ahead and second.
Is there a second to the
I'll
motion?
second it.
All right, motion by Eddie. I'm not gonna repeat the whole motion. Second by Richie. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Next item on the agenda, now we're moving to new business, item number 8A. This is an action item for the board. This is discussion and consideration of Resolution 2019-04 for written exemption of particular contracts under North Carolina General Statute 143-64.32. This one will be handled by the town manager. So, Mayor and members of the Board of Commissioners, the purpose of this item is to handle from a statutory perspective the procurement of professional services. The state of North Carolina in its general statutes has different methods of procurement for things like general services, for construction activities, and for professional services. In this particular case, professional services envisioned are things like architectural services, engineering services, landscape architecture, design build, surveying, etc. They have a special group of procurement requirements called qualifications-based selection. Oftentimes, you'll see those out there in the public as a request for qualifications. Those are the qualifications assessed by a municipality or a unit of local government as they want to hire. So it's not a bid-based process, it's based on qualifications. You start with the qualifications, then you negotiate a contract with the highest rated qualified firm. Now, the purpose of this exemption, it allows units of local government to exempt from a very large and burdensome RFQ process for small projects under $50,000. In fact, the statute allows this to happen. However, it can't just be done by the town manager. It requires an exemption to be approved by the governing body. That's why it's before you tonight. One thing we found about this particular exemption process, though, over time, is it has the effect of allowing a good competition for local businesses, small businesses, and disadvantaged business enterprises, so they have an opportunity to get some of these projects and work for the local municipality. So they've seen good results from this at the legislature, so that this has been left in the statutes, but it does require a written approval by the board for a town manager or designee to put this into effect. So I ask for your consideration this evening of the request for written exemption.
That was 50,000 or less?
That's correct, Commissioner.
All right, you've heard from the town manager. Any discussion? All right, can we have a motion?
I would request that Commissioner Mann read the motion.
I'm getting good at this. I move to approve Resolution 2019-04 for written exemption of particular contracts in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143-64-32.
Second.
All right, you've heard the motion read. Motion by Eddie Mann, second by Hannah Fry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries. Wow, this is something else. I like it.
The next agenda item is for informational purposes. This is item number 9, mayor's or commissioners' comments.
The only comment I have, and we got a conflict here, the last presentation of the charrette for the Manteo Town Common and meeting with the engineer and the architect is March the 20th. Isn't that when we had the workshop?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the workshop meeting will be held from presumably from 4 to 6, depending on the amount of business the board has to transact and public comment. And then the charrette following from 6 to 8 over at the College of the Albemarle at their Professional Arts Building.
And this will be probably your last chance to participate or look at it. I have not seen anything, I assure you. I haven't gotten into it purposely because I can't say, I don't want anybody saying that I had a hand in it. But I've heard it's beautiful, so you ought to take a chance, go look at it, and if you got any input and something to say or changes you'd like to see done, now that will be the time to do it, March the 20th at 6 to 8. So, and after that, if the board desires, we'll be on go and we'll go forth with it. And just wanted to bring it to your attention tonight. That's all I have. Nancy?
I'm good tonight, thank you, sir. Nothing for me.
What? Darryl?
The 20-year plan is the planning board, what is the planning board doing about that?
Planning board is meeting next week to discuss a schedule and a way forward. They had suggested at their last meeting that they would put together a working group to do that review. And then the application that I mentioned to you has been submitted with my department head report for this month.
Okay. Thank you. And I hope some of the public be involved in this planning for the next 20 years. And when the applications come out, I hope some of y'all apply to be on the steering committee. So,
No. Okay. Rich?
I do have something. I'd like to commend the Water and Sewer Department for the other night on their overnight venture they had at Pirates Cove. I think everything turned out okay, from what I understand. I wasn't there, of course, but could just relay that to them, if you don't mind, James.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Commissioner.
That's all I have.
Okay. Eddie?
I'd like to thank the new manager for his organized meeting. It's nice and
I'm tickled
streamlined.
to death.
I appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I understand he's been all over town, met with the businesses and the citizenry and shaking hands and hugging babies and kissing women and everything else. But this is unusual for us. We're on a new approach and it seems to be really working and it's wonderful. We're glad you're aboard and your wife here, and that's nice. And so we're going to move on for good days. Han?
I just want to thank Ms. Elise for making the journey down the mountain to come see us and for this great moment tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Anything else coming before the board?
Wow.
I ain't believing this. I can't get over that no comment. The comments from him. Yeah. We'll recess for our workshop March the 20th at 4 o'clock. Adjourn.
I make the motion that we recess till March the 20th at 4.
Motion second.
Second.
What did I say?
It's
Oh, y'all, that's right, we didn't do it. Okay, it's done. All in favor, aye.